All right, what's up, everybody? Cheers, Golly Fest season, Golly season. I went last weekend. I'm not a fan of the festival anymore. Too old to be doing all that partying and stuff. Too crowded for me. Anyway, I had a great weekend last weekend. So I hope everybody had a good Golly season and was able to go. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. This video is about boat prices. Yee. They are getting up there. I'm gonna go over a little bit of history on boat prices. Sorry, my camera's up top there, so I may not even make eye contact with that. I'm just kind of looking at the screen here. Prices are getting up there, and mostly just curious to see kind of who's still buying new boats and who's waiting it out to get used ones. Even used ones are expensive nowadays. But I think really the big thing is when if you buy a new boat now, it's almost like buying a used car. I mean, a new car, excuse me. So when you used to buy a new boat, it wasn't so much of a loss. Like, say you hated it, you could resell it, maybe lose a couple $100, you know. But now, if you're buying a new boat for $2,000, I would say the majority of people are not going to be buying a used boat for above, if you're lucky, $1,200. But I think honestly, 1,000 and 1,100 is kind of the used market, and that doesn't mean that. That just means if you buy a boat for $2,000 and you take it on the water once, that boat is now used, and the people who are going to pay $1,500-$1,600 for a boat are just going to buy a new one. So that's what I'm kind of getting into. That it really, you got to be really careful what you're buying new nowadays, because the turnaround and loss is going to be like driving a new car off the lot pretty much. So let's look at some of these here. Some of these here Excel files. I think I have to share this. Hold on one second. Alright, so let's look at some of these prices here. And these aren't exactly right. I tried to look today to kind of see where I could find accurate prices, but you know, it searches the internet and finds some different things. And these seem about right for the most part. But again, if you're watching, you're one of these brands, I'm sorry if it's inaccurate, but I think it's pretty close. At least we can kind of make a range estimate here. And I went back on some boats that I also purchased myself, and again, I think it's fairly accurate anyway. But if it's wrong, it's fine. You don't need a comment or anything. I get this not 100% right. All right, so just looking back here. So, like 19, 20, 21, this is kind of all that COVID year. Dagger was hovering around, you know, 1,200-ish, 1,250, something like that. And let me just say, so I've been kayaking since I was 10, now 41. And even back 15 years ago, I kind of took a hiatus when I went to college. So about 2009 is kind of when I got back into it. And I could get a Dagger on discount at Appomattox River Company for about $550. Jackson was actually the highest back then, or I think even with discount, it was around $900. Liquid Logic was cheap, $600, $700. Prana was still fairly expensive. It was like $900 to $1,000 with the discount, and Waka wasn't really around back then. But anyway, so that just tells you how much things have changed. It's wild, kind of like. It didn't change much in like 5 years, and then it really jumped up here in like 19, 20, 21, maybe 18. But so yeah, Dagger 12.29, Jackson was 13.99, and Jackson really wasn't a big change. They've always been kind of expensive from the get go, and so is Liquid Logic. Their prices have pretty much stayed around pretty cheap overall. Prana skyrocketed. I don't know when it was. 18-ish, something like that. So I don't know if this was right here in 2020, 21. I could only find that about 1,600 or so. I want to say it was a little cheaper, but I couldn't find anything. I think Waka was hovering around 1,300 to 1,400 if you can't see this on the screen. But anyway, so then we jump up to 2023. We're kind of heading out of COVID a little bit by then. Dagger had jumped up a bunch. They probably had the biggest jump from that area. So they're looking at 1,500 to 1,600 then. Jackson went to 1,500. Jackson's kind of just maintained this like $150 or $75 a year kind of average increase. Liquid Logic was around 1,200, and then Prana again increased to like 1,600, 1,750, somewhere around there. And then Waka has kind of been hovering in this $1,500 range for a few years. So if we look at Dagger 24, 25, that's this past year coming into next year. 1649. Jackson was 1649, somewhere around there. Again, these may not be totally accurate. I know Liquid Logic was 1399 for sure. Prana 1899, and then 1649 for Waka. Actually, when I bought my Skucks, it was 1649, and then when it, like a week later, I look and the Skucks had jumped up to 1850. So, looking at it right now, these should be accurate because from what I've found. So Daggers moved up a little bit, 1699. Jackson increased a lot from last year to this year, like $150, 1799. Liquid Logic's actually going down this year to $12.99. That's awesome move on their part. Don't know how much they're making like per boat, but that they're gonna sell some boats. Then Prana is moving up again to $19.99, $2,000. Waka $18.50. So when you're looking plus tax, you're looking at almost $2,100 for a piece of plastic from Prana. I'm not saying they're not good boats, but holy cow, that's a lot of money for a new boat. So if we're looking at just kind of how much of these boats have increased from like 20, we're going to look at increase from like 20 to now. Dagger's like around 38%. Jackson actually hasn't increased all that much, so 25, 26% there from 5 years ago. So that's not too bad, in reality. They've kind of staggered their price increase. Liquid Logic's only increased 18%. Prana is actually, it seems high, but they went up a lot these years prior, and so it's only 25%. Waka actually had the hugest jump because in like the last 3 years, they jumped almost $350, and mostly probably to shipping and importing, so 42%. Big increases across the board, and this isn't just supply for kayaks. This is paddles, skirts, throw ropes, everything, which is kind of a little daunting if you're getting into the sport. So I'm wondering how much it's really impacting kids and stuff getting into the sport. And this is kind of what I've been wanting to talk about really, though. So if you're buying a brand new boat, so just start right here. Say you bought a Liquid Logic. And let's say, so a brand new Liquid Logic this year plus tax, you're looking at $13.50. Obviously, a lot of us get some sort of discount, 10%, whatever. Let's look at max retail plus tax. So, and the good thing about Liquid Logic is you're still selling the used ones for around these prices. So that's good. You're only really going to take like a 25% loss or so on a Liquid Logic boat, and they're all solid. All their designs are solid right now. So that's great. So say you paid $1,900 for a boat. That's looking at you, probably Jackson with tax, or if you got discount on Piranha, Waka with tax, something like that. At the very most, I'm sorry, you're going to sell it. Don't even try to post it for $1,500. Nobody's going to buy it. They're just going to buy a brand new boat. So $1,200, $1,100 maybe. You're looking at a 37% loss driving that thing off the lot. I don't care if you put it in a lake. If it's been used, it is used, and that's just how it is. It's no different than driving a new car off a lot. Again, let's say you only got $1,000 for it. That's almost that's 47% loss. That's just wild. And then say you did max retail on a Piranha and only were able to sell it for $1,000. 53% loss. Man, I tell you, this area right here is what gets me. And even when I review boats, this kills me because I'm telling you, you think like I don't make any money reviewing boats. I'm a psychologist, do it for fun. I can show you my stats and things. I make like Waka was a hot boat like the Skucks, and I made like $10 off of the review video. So I bought a $1,650 boat. Made a few videos and made $10 total so far. So that's what tells you what you get when you get reviews. So I mean, I cannot afford to buy a $2,100 boat, then take $1,000 loss to make a $10 video. Like I didn't mind buying like, cause I do get some discounts for reviews and stuff. So like, I could probably get a Piranha for I don't know, 1,700 or something. But still, even so, I'm losing $600 now. It's just not worth it anymore. Um, and I always sell them like my used boats for a really good price. I don't try to screw people. So even if I got it for a discount, I'm gonna sell it for what I think a discounted used price is for. So it's just wild right now. It's just wild, and it makes it even more. You gotta be even more cautious of buying a new boat. Like make sure it's not a dud. Because say you bought one of these and the design was a total flop, and then you're looking at like, oh gosh, I bought a $2,100 boat and now it's not a good boat, and I'm gonna have to sell it for just somebody who wants a piece of plastic for $600 or $700. Then you're looking at like 75% loss. So it's even more important to make sure you like the boat and demo it now than ever. I tell you that. Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna try to still review some boats. My preferred way of reviewing them, buying them brand new, outfitting them, taking them out on multiple different types of runs, multiple runs period, and doing it like you would buy a boat. Like me demoing them, especially my size, I gotta outfit them kind of a lot and things. So I don't feel comfortable giving a review just like demoing a boat, and that's just my style. But anyway. Yeah, these are just some price things, but yeah, if you look at paddles, like a decent paddle, I mean, you're looking at, let me stop sharing here. Yeah, like a decent paddle, like an Aquabound, Arca Works, you're 300 to 500, any of those type of brands for a new paddle. Warner even 350, where they used to be like 175. Skirts are $300 or $400. Helmets. Yeah, I'm trying to think just in my mind here. If you were to just pick up like a Sweet Wanderer, like a Warner paddle, a middle grade IR skirt, 1,000, 1,500 plus a boat. I mean, you're looking at almost $5,000 for if you wanted everything new to set up, obviously. But even used, you're probably looking at 2,000, where it used to be like $500. So that's kind of what we're in with kayaking right now. So I think Liquid Logic really kind of nailed it with their price. Yeah, they don't have the best outfitting and it's kind of cheap and all that, but hey, you can almost buy two for the price of another boat. So take it whatever it is. I think that was a good marketing strategy on their part, and all their designs are really good. So yeah, Liquid Logic might be winning this year, and we'll see what happens to all the other companies. Curious to know if the new Annex 3 will sell. I'm sure they'll be the people that have to have it right off the bat. I'm trying to pick up one at a discount to review, but yeah, even that price is steep to just review pretty much. Whew. Anyway, well, I hope everybody's been doing well. Just want to put this video out there as a kind of just feeler to see what people have been up to buying boats. If not, yeah, comment below what do you think about all this. And please, no political views or anything. I don't want to hear about it. I'm so over this whole political crap. It's toxic to all of our minds. So, yeah, just keep it kayaking, and I appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one.